This is the true crime case where the suspect was on the run after killing a mother and her 17-day-old twins. Law enforcement searched for him tirelessly but failed. It seemed like the case would remain unsolved forever. But what if I told you that AI helped in arresting the criminal after 19 long years? In this video, let's take a closer look at the Ranjani Angchal case. Welcome to True Crime with Grandpa. You are awesome, and don't believe people who tell you otherwise. In the town of Angchal, in the state of Kerala, India, lived a 24-year-old woman named Ranjani Angchal, who had just given birth to twin daughters. Ranjani's mother, Santhama, was also staying with her to assist Ranjani in delivery and post-delivery situation. The twins brought joy and excitement into the lives of Ranjani and Santhama. Everything seemed perfect for them. One day, Santhama visited a local government office to collect the twins' birth certificates. Ranjani and her two daughters stayed at home. When Santhama returned, she saw something that shattered her happiness and broke her down completely. In a helpless state, Santhama ran out of the house crying, and the neighbors came rushing out hearing her cry. All the neighbors saw Santhama crying loudly, pointing toward her house. They ran inside Santhama's house and found Ranjani lying in a pool of blood. She had been stabbed multiple times. Her 17-day-old twin daughters were also dead. All three victims had knife wounds to the neck. Santhama fainted at the sight of her daughter and granddaughter's body and was rushed to the hospital. The neighbors immediately informed the police about the horrific incident. Police rushed to the scene and began investigating the case. According to the neighbors, Ranjani's family had moved into this rental house just 2 weeks earlier. The murder had taken place only an hour or two before, judging by the blood that was still flowing from the bodies. Police quickly ruled out robbery, as no valuables were missing. They began questioning the neighbors if anyone had seen or heard anything unusual. One neighbor said he heard the sound of a scooter passing by, just before hearing Santhama crying. A scooter was not very common in such a small town, especially back in 2006. Police started searching the house for clues, and it felt like Santhama's statement was the only hope for the police. Santhama regained consciousness. Police began questioning her for more details. Santhama had a divorce many years ago, and as a single parent, she had raised both daughters. Ranjani was her younger one. Before Ranjani's delivery, Santhama had been living with her elder daughter. Ranjani herself had been living in Alayaman, where she completed her education and worked. During her time in Alayaman, Ranjani had a neighbor named Divil Kumar. Divil was an army soldier, posted with Pathankot Regiment. Whenever Divil came home on leave, he would talk to Ranjani. Over time, they became friends and then lovers. Ranjani often shared everything with her aunt, who was Santhama's sister. Ranjani shared with her aunt that she was 6 months pregnant, and that Divil was the father. She had only realized she was pregnant after noticing changes in her body. Ranjani asked Divil to marry her, but he refused and kept telling her to get an abortion instead. And he also started distancing himself from Ranjani. Santhama knew about the pregnancy and was furious. In India, pregnancy before marriage is considered taboo. Santhama went to Divil's house, hoping to talk him into marrying her daughter. But Divil was away on duty at the Pathankot army camp, and his parents blamed the pregnancy on Ranjani's character. Santhama decided to take her pregnant daughter far away from everyone they knew. She urged Ranjani to have an abortion, since neither Divil nor his family accepted her. Santhama feared her daughter would end up a single mother just like her. But Ranjani refused to. During a checkup, Ranjani discovered she was carrying twins. Santhama eventually decided to support her daughter and gave her the emotional strength she needed. Time passed and the delivery date arrived. Ranjani was admitted to the hospital. At the hospital, a man approached Ranjani and Santhama and befriended them. When they asked who he was, he introduced himself as Anil Kumar. He told them he would be happy to donate if needed, and even brought the medicines prescribed by the doctors. Anil said it felt like they were family to him and decided to help. Santhama began to see Anil as a messenger of God. On January 26, 2006, Ranjani gave birth to twin daughters. The delivery went smoothly, with no complications. Santhama and Ranjani shared their story with Anil, and he assured them he would help them in every way possible. Santhama told Anil that they would be going back to their hometown after being discharged from the hospital. Anil convinced them that it wasn't the right time and that people would start talking bad about them, and it could badly affect Ranjani and the newborn twins. Santhama agreed and rented a house in Anchal town. After they were discharged, Anil helped them move into the rented place. But soon, people began bad-mouthing Ranjani's character and passed allegations that she was just trying to defame Divil. Santhama and Ranjani couldn't tolerate what people were saying about them. They filed a complaint with the Kerala Women's Rights Commission stating that Divil had cheated Ranjani and was refusing to acknowledge his own children. They also demanded a DNA test to prove that he was the father. The Kerala Women's Rights Commission ordered Divil to undergo the DNA test, and if proven to be the father, to take full responsibility for the twins. Anil kept visiting Ranjani often, helping her with household chores. He began trying to get closer to her, but Ranjani avoided him. She was slowly moving on from memories of Divil and was afraid to trust another man. On February 10th, 2006, Anil came to Ranjani and Santhama's house on a scooter. Santhama was about to leave for the local government office to collect the birth certificates for her granddaughters. Anil told Santhama that he was also about to leave and left. When Santhama returned home, she found the of her daughter and granddaughters. After hearing everything Santhama told them, police narrowed their suspects down to 2 people. The first was Divil, against whom the DNA test order had been issued. The second was Anil, the man who had become very close to the family. While police were searching Ranjani's house for clues, they found a vehicle registration certificate of a scooter. Using this registration certificate, police traced the vehicle's owner. When they questioned the owner, he said he had sold the scooter to a vehicle reseller about 2 weeks earlier. Police then spoke to that reseller and learned that 2 men had purchased the scooter about 2 weeks ago. The reseller described the men, one with a beard and one who was fair-skinned and clean-shaven. Santhama had also described Divil as fair-skinned and clean-shaven. One of the 2 men who bought the scooter was Divil. The police went to Divil's house, but he wasn't there, which means he might be at the army camp. But who is the other man? The mechanic at the reseller's shop knows the other man. A few days after the scooter was bought, this other man came to the reseller shop asking the mechanic to come with him and fix the puncture. On the way, he stopped at an ATM to withdraw cash. This was a huge lead for the police. They immediately went to the bank and tracked down the transaction that day, and the account holder's name was Rajesh Kumar. When they reviewed Rajesh's recent transactions, they noticed that all transactions before the murder were in and around Anchal town where Ranjani lived. But after the murder, the transactions came from various cities across India, with the most recent one in Nagpur. The bank account used for the withdrawal was from the Pathankot branch. Speaking of Pathankot, police remembered that Divil's posting was also in Pathankot. When police dug deeper into Rajesh's background, they discovered he was also an army soldier just like Divil, and both were serving in the same regiment. Police contacted the Pathankot regiment and informed them of everything and told them that they were searching for Divil and Rajesh. Army officers tried reaching both Rajesh and Divil, only to find they had abandoned their duties without permission or notice. They were officially declared deserters. An officer from Pathankot faxed Rajesh's photo to the police to help with the investigation. When police showed the photo to Santhama and asked her if she could identify Rajesh, she was shocked. Looking at Rajesh's picture, Santhama told police the man in the photo was Anil Kumar. The same Anil who met them at the hospital and became a family friend. It was all part of Divil's plan. He told Rajesh to use the name Anil and to befriend Santhama and Ranjani so he could track their every move. The moment Santhama left the house to collect the birth certificates, Rajesh went to the house once again and Ranjani and the twins. Police had already collected DNA samples from the twins and were searching for Divil to test his DNA against the twins. If it matched, it would prove in court that Divil was their father. And to avoid responsibility, he had his friend Rajesh them. Police were on the lookout for Divil and Rajesh and alerted every police station across the country. They even announced a reward of 50,000 rupees for anyone who could help arrest them. But still the police couldn't find them. Days passed, and the year 2010 arrived. Exhausted from waiting for justice, Santhama appealed to the High Court to hand the case over to CBI. The CBI reinvestigated and came to the same conclusion as the police, that Rajesh had Ranjani and the twins, and the reason being that Divil didn't want to marry Ranjani and take responsibility for the children. Even the CBI failed to locate Divil and Rajesh. The reward was increased to 200,000 rupees. But despite all attempts, Divil and Rajesh were nowhere near the handcuffs. Years passed by and the case went cold. During 2023, police officer Manoj reopened old unsolved cases and tried to solve those cases using the latest available technology. As he browsed through the cases, Manoj came across Ranjani's case. Although he didn't have to take up the case since the case was transferred to CBI, but he still wanted to take up the case because it involved the of a mother and her 17-day-old twin daughters. Manoj gave his team old photos of Divil and Rajesh and asked them to use AI to predict what the men might look like now. AI has generated multiple possible looks for both the men, and those images were then matched against photos on social media. One particular match came back with a 90% similarity. That photo had been uploaded to Facebook, and the account was being accessed from Pondicherry. Police immediately informed the CBI, and CBI capitalized on the lead provided by the police and took forward the investigation. The account belonged to a man named Praveen, whose appearance closely matched with the Rajesh's image generated by AI. CBI agents began following Praveen and noticing his movements. Then one day, while Praveen was in a crowded place, a CBI officer trailing him shouted the name Rajesh. Praveen reacted instantly, but no one else in the crowd responded. That was all the confirmation they needed. On January 4th, 2025, Praveen was taken into custody. During interrogation, he admitted his real name was Rajesh and confessed to Ranjani and her newborn daughters. On the same day, Divil was also arrested. Divil had changed his name to Vishnu, and Rajesh had changed his name to Praveen. Both had obtained official government IDs under their new identities and had been living in Pondicherry, working as interior designers. Both their wives were working as school teachers. Divil and Rajesh admitted their crimes. Santhama was in a temple when the police called to tell her the had been caught. All of Santhama's prayers had finally been answered. The legal proceedings of the case are going on, and the judgment is yet to come. Divil was unwilling to take responsibility for the twins and feared the consequences of admitting he was their father. To escape that responsibility, he manipulated his friend Rajesh into committing a horrifying act against Ranjani and the twins. Divil truly had a devilish personality. He was not man enough to take responsibility for his own family. Honestly, I don't know what he was even doing in the army. Ranjani had seen her mother struggle as a single parent to raise them. She should have been a little more careful in her relationship with Divil. Ranjani was genuinely invested in that relationship, but there are people like Divil in society, and all we can do is live more cautiously. Santhama and Ranjani shouldn't have trusted Rajesh so easily. It's not even their fault because predators like Divil and Rajesh don't come with warning signs. So what do you think about this case? If you were in the victim's shoes, how would you try to escape? I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked my narration, please like and subscribe to your grandpa and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next true crime case.